Hello, my friends. Thank you for joining me today. I want you to imagine a city wrapped in smoke. The streets are crowded. Horses pull heavy carts through the mud. Factory chimneys rise into the grey sky. People hurry past one another without stopping. Everyone seems busy. Everyone seems tired. Now imagine a young boy standing quietly among them. He is not famous. He is not important. Nobody stops to ask his name. Yet one day, his words will travel around the world. His stories will make people laugh, cry, and think differently about the lives of the poor. That boy is Charles Dickens. And this is his story. Charles Dickens was born in England in 1812. His family was neither rich nor completely poor. They lived an ordinary life. His father worked for the government and had a cheerful personality. He loved conversation and big dreams. Unfortunately, he also had a habit of spending money he did not have. As a child, Charles loved books. Stories fascinated him. When other children played games outside, Charles often disappeared into the pages of novels and adventures. Books opened doors to places far beyond his neighborhood. They taught him that words had power, even at a young age. He noticed people carefully. He watched how they spoke. He watched how they dressed. He noticed the differences between confidence and fear, wealth and poverty, happiness and loneliness. Without realizing it, he was already training himself to become a writer. But childhood does not always remain peaceful. As Charles grew older, financial problems began to surround his family. Bills piled up, debts increased, arguments became more frequent. The atmosphere inside the home slowly changed. One day, the crisis could no longer be avoided. Charles's father was imprisoned because he could not pay what he owed. For a young boy, the experience was shocking. The world suddenly seemed unfair. The future seemed uncertain. Instead of enjoying his education, Charles found himself facing responsibilities that no child should have to carry. To help support his family, he was sent to work. The place where he worked was dark, noisy, and exhausting. The hours felt endless. Every day seemed the same. Many of the children around him had known hardship all their lives. Some had never attended school. Some expected nothing from the future. Charles looked at them and wondered how many dreams had already been lost inside those walls. The experience left a deep mark on him. He felt embarrassed. He felt forgotten. Most of all, he felt as if his childhood had been taken away. Yet something important was happening. While he worked, he observed. While he struggled, he learned. He began to understand the lives of people who were often ignored by society. Years later, those memories would become the heart of his greatest stories. Eventually, circumstances improved. His father was released. Charles returned to education. But the emotional wounds remained. He never forgot the factory. He never forgot the children he had met there, and he never forgot how it felt to be powerless as a young man. Charles searched for a career. He worked in offices. He learned shorthand. He became a reporter. The job required him to listen carefully and write quickly. It suited him perfectly. He attended political debates, public meetings, and important events. Every assignment improved his skills. Every day strengthened his confidence. Then came a turning point. Charles began writing stories. At first, they appeared in magazines and newspapers. Readers loved them. His characters felt real. His descriptions felt alive. People recognized themselves in his stories. Success arrived gradually, and then all at once. Soon, Charles Dickens became one of the most popular writers in Britain. His novels introduced readers to unforgettable characters. Some were kind. Some were cruel. Some were humorous. Some were heartbreaking. But all of them reflected truths about human life. Unlike many writers of his era, Dickens focused on ordinary people. He wrote about workers, children, families, and individuals struggling against difficult circumstances. Readers connected deeply with these stories because they recognized the realities being described. His novels entertained people, but they also encouraged them to think. Questions about poverty. Questions about education. Questions about justice. Questions about compassion. Through storytelling, Dickens helped shine a light on problems that many preferred to ignore. As his fame grew, so did his influence. Crowds gathered to hear him read from his work. His public readings became legendary. People laughed when he performed comic scenes. They wept when he described tragedy. He did not simply read words from a page, he brought them to life. Audiences felt as if the characters themselves were standing before them. Despite his success, Dickens remained incredibly hardworking. He wrote constantly. He edited publications. He traveled frequently. He managed countless responsibilities. Friends often worried that he worked too much, yet he rarely slowed down. The same determination that had helped him survive difficult childhood experiences continued to drive him forward as the years passed. His books reached readers far beyond England. His reputation spread internationally. Generations of readers discovered his stories and carried them into the future. Eventually, however, the demands of constant work began affecting his health. His body grew weaker. The pace that had once seemed unstoppable became harder to maintain. In 1870, Charles Dickens suffered a stroke. The news shocked the public. Millions of people felt as though they had lost a trusted friend when he died. Tributes arrived from every corner of society. Rich and poor alike mourned his passing. Writers admired him, readers loved him, and ordinary people remembered that he had given a voice to lives that were often overlooked today. More than a century later, his stories continue to be read around the world. Students study them, families enjoy them, filmmakers adapt them, readers continue finding hope, humor, and humanity within their pages. And perhaps that is the most remarkable part of all. The frightened boy who once worked in a dark factory could never have known how far his words would travel. He could never have known how many lives they would touch. But he kept going. He kept learning. He kept writing. And step by step, he transformed painful experiences into something meaningful. So before we finish, my friends, I would like to leave you with a simple thought. Every person has difficulties. Every person faces moments of doubt. Sometimes progress feels slow. Sometimes success seems impossible. Yet, history is full of people who continued moving forward despite those challenges. Charles Dickens was one of them. His story reminds us that difficult beginnings do not determine our endings. Our circumstances may shape us, but they do not have to define us. The future is built through patience, effort, and persistence. And sometimes, the very struggles that seem unfair today become the source of our greatest strengths tomorrow. Thank you for spending this time with me. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep believing in the power of your own story.